Hey guys, Ignatius here. I just wanted to do a quick Pally Power video for you guys because there's a lot of confusion going on during raids about like Pally Power and is this a Pally Power problem? Is this a user problem? So this is just like how I've figured it out. I'm sure there's others in better ways, but you know this is how I've done it. So as you can first notice that my Pally Power is much smaller. There is an option in Pally Power options to make it smaller. This Pally Power button scale is that. But the main thing in here really is to know you don't want to cast salve in combat in these options. Sorry, I'm getting kind of sidetracked already. So this is just the main stuff, right? Buttons. The main button that you want to do is you want to be able to have the player and class button pop out, because if 90% of the time you just left click these buttons, that'll work. But sometimes it doesn't work because the top person, the person Pally Power is trying to target, isn't in range. So when you click it, you won't get it. So you have to find them and then target the person in range. And if that first person's in range of the blessing in general, they'll get it still. So let's hop into assignments here. So to get to assignments, you just right click here, or you just right click on the mini map, or left click the mini map, or right click to get to that. But here are your assignments. I always use the assignments. You scroll with your wheel mouse to do the assignments here, and then if you hold down shift and scroll up, it'll do all of them. So in raids you can quickly assign this stuff. So I'm going to leave this all as kings, but I want to give the warriors salvation and myself wisdom, because that's how it is. Now before I'm ready to buff, you have to go into the options menu, and then in the options menu you really need to go to raid as well. In here, this will only work if you are in a raid, and this is the place where you tell it to overwrite, take a buff, and then overwrite with another other buff. And this is really important with warriors, right? Because you want to be, if you are assigned Blessing of Salvation, you want to hit Override Warriors with Blessing of Salvation, and then you want to pick another one, and that's usually going to be Sacrifice, because in our raids recently they all get this. You can wisdom that too, but Sacrifice, it will get rid of only lasts 30 seconds, so it's not eating up a buff slot for 5 minutes, and then our warriors won't get mad at you. If you have Sanctuary is a good one, because a lot of times we don't assign Sanctuary to the raid, so that's always a good one to do. And then and then this one's a little bit different, because you want to make sure this is that too. This one is more for, well, this one's obviously for druids and paladins. So if you are assigned salvation and they've been marked as a tank in the raid, you can assign them something else. I usually leave it as Blessing of Might, because druids tend not to get Blessing of Might, assigned Blessing of Might for the 15 minute. That way they can do that. Settings, make sure salve in combat is not checked. I know there's a lot of times during a raid you will want to resalve during combat. I've done it myself a lot of times, but unless you are quick, or your warriors have a weak aura or a macro that's automatically removing salve, it's kind of dangerous. It screws up threat. So don't salve in combat, at least the warriors, as much as possible. So now that we know how to set this stuff up and where to go in these menus, I'm going to show you the inner workings of Pally Power. And once again, this is just how I've gone to use Pally Power, but there could be another way. There could be a better way. If there is, let me know. But this is just how I figured it out. So first things first, as you can notice, I'm in a raid here with my pot guy, my potions holder, and my warrior. So I'm going to left click the warriors. Now obviously they went AFK in the middle of this, of course. So obviously my level 1 pot guy is not going to be able to get greater Blessing of Salvation. So that's why this did not go. But if you notice, Ignatius, the warrior, is now blue, and it's saying, hey, he needs to be rebuffed, right? So you got two options that you can do. You can just right-click that button, or you can right-click this, the pop-out. And then you can left-click this. Why it's nice to leave the pop-out is just in case your first target is not in range of your buffs, of being targeted for the buffs. You can go out here and then find that person down on your list, find a person down on the list that is within range, because generally when that happens, the top people that are not in range to be buffed will still get the buff, because the buff actually has a huge range to after it's cast. You just need someone within range to do that. And then when someone dies, real quick, just right click the class that dies. You can also do this, what they call the smart button. Right click, and that just is, you just right or left click that, and it'll do left click for graders, right click for 5-minute buffs, and it'll automatically do that. But like I said, if you're trying to avoid something, like I prefer doing that. That's pretty much it. The main part of Pally Power, and like I think the growing pains in the raid is this section. And it's just, you got to go to raid, you got to first figure out the buff that you want to overwrite, right, and then do Blessing of Sacrifice. I think this one is mainly for if you get assigned Wisdom or Salve on your druids, that you can then give them that. Same thing if you want light and want to give them for something else, you can do it. I think this one is more for the Protection Paladins and their tanking, because they generate threat based off of the Greater Blessing of Kings. But yeah, and that's pretty much it. If you guys have any comments, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. That's it. Like, yeah. So let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.